Hello, greetings. It's me again. It's been a while. I understand. Apologies for that, the delay. It is the new year, and I did not intend to wait this long to upload a video. I also apologize for the cold, and I'm not talking about the weather. I'm talking about this nasty, sniffly sound that I have right now. I am recovering from a minor illness. Apologies for that. I'll be editing out coughs and sniffles, probably. You don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. As for the delay in uploads, you'd think you'd have more time over the holidays to do this sort of thing, but I decided to take a bit of time off just from all my side projects and stuff like that. I mean, I do stuff beyond just the YouTube channel, and I guess it was sort of a burnout period on a lot of different things, not necessarily the YouTube thing. And I've learned that, the thing about YouTube content is it needs to be earnest. You don't need to just do something because it's popular. I think you have to enjoy it. Otherwise, people pick up on that sort of thing. I don't want this channel to be full of any sort of falseness, if that's a word. The Skyrim content is recorded, honestly. I just kind of lost steam on it. And, the work suffers when you're trying to just barrel through it. Again, the audience can sort of pick up on when you're not enjoying something, and those specific videos, I'm not sure when they'll be out, whenever I work up the gumption to edit them, I guess. The other thing about Skyrim is, I guess you can kind of get intimidated by how much Skyrim content is out there. A lot of good Skyrim content, and how do you make it new and different, and still enjoyable for you, At the end of the day, I want to make something valuable on YouTube, and not just because it picks up higher viewership than other things, if that makes sense. But yeah, that, and it's just, been difficult to get a moment to record in. So yeah, that's my excuses. I promise. That's all I'm going to say about that. But this is something new. It's not really a video game, but some of you may actually recognize that this is Dungeondraft, and seeing as this is an RPG channel now, I enjoy this sort of thing immensely. You have no idea how much fun it is to make maps for me. I don't know. I swear in a previous life I must have been a cartographer or something, but I love Dungeons and Dragons. I run a weekly game. I have lots of different software tools and video games on Steam and all these different assets to pull from specifically for making maps. Like I said, I love this sort of thing. I'm a real nerd. I'll sit around with a giant sketch pad that I get from Hobby Lobby or Michael's or whatever, and I just make maps sometimes. Just draw maps, because world building is cool. World building is really fun. And at the end of the day, I think that's why I have an RPG channel. I love fantasy. I mean, I love sci-fi, and I love all the different kinds of RPGs that are out there. But like at the end of the day, I'm all about that fantasy. That's the stuff for me. I love games like Baldur's Gate, and the universes of Dragon Age and the Elder Scrolls and Lord of the Rings, obviously, Wheel of Time, all those kinds of things appeal to me. And for those of you who have really been around the channel for longer than the past 3 months or so, you know that this was a music channel first, and it was specifically for role-playing game music that I had made, because that's what I do. I make music, and I record audiobooks and voiceover and all that sort of thing. Not necessarily right now with all this crud, but yeah, so I love creating other worlds and stuff. And if I had, 300 years on this here planet, I'd probably be a writer in one of those. But, it's a lot of work as it stands, and I prefer just making music and these kinds of things. I'm rambling, aren't I? Well, that's what I'm going to do in this video. That's what this video is. It's just me sitting back and enjoying RPG stuff. And hopefully everyone else will find this entertaining as well. This is sort of my way to unwind. I know for a lot of people, especially me, even as a dungeon master, like, I enjoy the whole world building process, but at the same time, it can become very tedious and it can quickly become homework for a lot of us. And I think that's where the real burnout is. I went about 8 months without Dungeons and Dragons last year, and I didn't even realize that I had sort of put it off for that amount of time, but I needed a break from it. And fortunately, I have a really great group of people who understood. But I think it was because you sort of get caught up in maybe the minor details of the lore that you're creating, things that not necessarily are things that the players are going to pick up on, but at the same time are important to you. That they're there, and for some reason that makes it even more difficult. Again, if you're like me and you're just a perfectionist, you like to have all of those things ironed out. And so yeah, what I'm trying to say in a roundabout way is that these types of tools, map making software like Dungeondraft and stuff, really allow me to prepare for game night in a way that doesn't feel like homework. It's very relaxing. I usually put on Critical Role or something and listen to that in the background while I toll away at these little maps and things. And I can really just sort of turn my brain off and focus on just little minute details like, where to plant, or these little shrubberies that you're seeing there, or, how much light is given off from this window and all of that. And it just scratches a sort of itch, I guess, that I didn't necessarily know I always had. This is, in its own way, a cathartic, is that the word? A cathartic process. And it's very enjoyable for me. And it's like I'm creating my own universe, my own fantasy world and all of that. And funny enough, these days when I play these RPGs like Skyrim and all of that, most of the time it's to sort of fuel my next project, the inspiration for the next project. I've written entire albums of music just because I wanted to do something sort of Skyrim-esque, or I've done something that I wanted to sound similar to Pillars of Eternity or Baldur's Gate or whatever. I'm talking just in a big old circular way because this is difficult. I have recorded this type of video in the past where I've voiced over, the B-roll footage or whatever you want to call it. But I'm still not perfect at it. And talking nonstop, even for this short amount of time, is difficult in its own right. Here in a minute on this video, you'll see me get to one of my favorite parts of the map making process, which is the lighting. I think it looks pretty good as it stands. Like, that's a library. You can tell it's a library and everything, and it's interesting. But this really, and I think you'll see it here now as I start to place these torches, the light from these torches, how much it just makes it pop and makes a scene memorable. And again, this can all inform the storytelling process if you're someone who is sort of starved for ideas at the moment as a dungeon master. All of a sudden this library is not just a place filled with old dusty tomes. It's got this interesting sort of magical aura in the center. It's a haven for scholars, and there's maps in this one room. Being a dungeon master is about making these memorable experiences, and of course it's not all on you, it's on the players as well. Hopefully you've got a good group of people who are in it for the same reasons, but it's these little details and things that at least some of the people at my table, they pick up on those sorts of things. I have one player who plays a rogue, and I swear she's got a photographic memory. It's things that I don't even remember saying, and it's always really impressive to me, and it's actually really encouraging too that things are remembered, when I describe a scene. And these tools they should help you in that. They shouldn't, be homework, as it were. You shouldn't have to, now I've got to go and create a battle map for this week. This is a sort of de-stressing process for me. Yeah, it should be that too. And look at that. Look at the lighting in that scene. There's the finished product. I'm pretty happy with that. Now we've got a great little interesting battle that can take place in this here library. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been really fun to make. They're really, really easy and quick for me to do. And if you want more of these, then absolutely, I will continue to do them. Maybe we'll tap into that Dungeons and Dragons audience, which is something I would love. Maybe one of these days I'll create a way for you to get these higher quality images for these maps as well. That would be kind of cool, maybe. Yeah, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Until next time.